So we need to define the reference point here. For the absolute, we said we have a fixed reference point, which is 0, 0, for example, or any other point, but it should be a fixed point. Then we are going to move to the coordinates according to the value of the coordinates. Okay. So first, we need to move in the x direction. I say here, it depends. If you are working on two axes here, for example, you have x-axis and y-axis. In the milling machine, you need to move first in the x direction, then in the y direction. If you have three axes, so like in the three-axis machine, you are going to move then in the z direction. So for example, here I'm in the reference point here. How this point, or how the spindle or the head of the machine, or how the coordinates of this workpiece will be changed. I'm start from 0, 0. Should I go up or right first? What is the first movement of this part here from the 0 point? In the CNC here, meaning if it consists of 2 or 3 axes, the first you need to go through x-axis. That means this head will move on x-axis until reach to the point of 4. If I am start at the point C, for example, if I will start at the point A, if my start point is point A, so I will move right until this point. For example, it is like 1.5. I move 1.5. This is on x-axis. Then the machine will move up to the y-axis, which is 4.5, for example. So this is how the movement will be represented from the reference point until the first coordinate. Then I want to move from A to B. That means I need to move first on the x direction. So I will move 1 here until 2. This is 2 point. This is the point 2 here is or B at 2. So I'm going to move until 2. Then I go down on the y-axis until 3. Okay, so the first is right, then up, then right, then down until I reach to this point. Then I want the machine or the spindle or the head to move to the point C. I will go to the end at the x-axis until point C. That means C is located at 4 coordinates. So I'm going to move to this point. Then I go down to the point of 1 in the y-axis until reach to here. So this is how the CNC milling machine functioning or moving when we have defined, or when we define using the absolute coordinate as 0, 0. Any question about this part?
No.
Okay, Tada. Next. If we want to go for incremental coordinate here, the incremental coordinate, we said the incremental coordinate use the variable or non-fixed reference point here. So that means at any point in the Cartesian graph here can be plotted accurately by measuring the distance between the points. So if I am at point A, I want to move to point B. So just I measure the distance from this point to this point, so I can move, or the machine can move, or the head can move between these 2 points. Okay, what is the starting point for this one? I mean, since we said the reference is the current position, or the current position is the reference for the next position, from where we have to start, also the same. We need to start from the 0 point. So the 0 point, or the origin point here, or the point of origin, is the first reference. Because before I go to A, I need to have point, which is my reference. So my reference will be 0, 0. So from 0, 0, I need to move to A, for example. I will move for 1 here, then I move for 4 up. This is the first point. I want to go to the next point. I will measure the distance from A to the next point. I am not going to say move 2 or move 3 or move 4. No, I need to measure what is the distance from this new reference point to the new position. So this is one example about the absolute coordinates calculation. So absolute coordinate means fixed reference. Absolute coordinates means just use the existing coordinates values. Okay, no need to think a lot about it. So you have the reference value is 0, 0. Now, if I ask about the point A, okay, if I ask about the point A here, where is the point A? It is here. What will be the coordinate for point A, and how we can program this coordinate into the machine later on? When we after we define the absolute coordinate, we give it G90, for example, it is absolute coordinate. What is the movement on the x-axis? What is the movement on the y-axis? Since I have only two axes here, so x and y. So how I can define the coordinates here? So the point A here, or the point is 1.5 unit along the x-axis. You can see here A is one. This is this 0.5. This is one. Here is 1.5 units. Okay, so it is 1.5 units from the x-axis and 4.5 units on the y-axis. This is 4. Here we have 4.5. Okay, so I have 1.5, 4.5. This define the coordinates. So x is 1.5, y is 4.5. So it is defined with respect to the main reference, which is 0, 0. So from 0, 0, it is 1.5 on x-axis, 4.5 on y-axis. Then I go to the next point, which is point P. So this value here later on will be used to program or to write the program of movement inside the machine. Okay, so when you write the program, you are going to see like this one: x 1.5, y 4.5, because it's already positive, so no need to indicate the position of positive. Sometimes also if already no digits, so no need to include this 0, but it's more accurate to have 2.0. So it's I mean it's become more for programming language. They used to have such digit because it's this differentiate between integer number and this I mean the integer number and other type of numbers. Okay, so then for the point P here, which is here, how I can define these coordinates? Point P is located at this point at x equal to 2 and y equal to 3. So just with respect to reference point, so it's still the same, x2, y3. So when I want to write the coordinates, it will be x2 and y3. For point C here, this is point C, x equal to 4, y equal to 1. So this is the Cartesian coordinate representation for the 3 points on the x and y axis. So for the absolute coordinate, it's very easy and it's no need to think or to calculate. But if you have some complicated coordinates, imagine that you want to cut the, I mean, or to make a hole or to cut a piece of metal and so on. So you are not going to define just coordinate for 2 points. Maybe you have hundreds of points. For that, we said last time we have interpolator. So interpolator here will generate thousands of coordinates because you are not dealing with 1 centimeter material. I mean, piece of 1 centimeter dimension. Maybe you want to produce engine, you want to produce aircraft, you want to produce automobile or car, and so on. So all these, I mean, there are a lot of coordinates you need to define in order to perform the task on this product. The second one here, use the absolute coordinate. You have multiple points. You have A, you have B, C, B and C, and so on. So if you want to define the coordinate for these points from A to B, then again to C. So using the absolute coordinate also still it's not that difficult. So you need to define each point. What is the value on x-axis? What is the value on the y-axis? For example, for the point A here, it is 3 units on the x, 2 units on the y, but here it is not on the y positive, it is on the y negative. So it's become 3 and negative 2. For the point B here, you come to the point B here, it is negative 4 in the x-axis and negative 3 on the y-axis. For the point C here, it is 1 on the x-axis positive, 3 on the y-axis positive, and so on. So when you define it, you will write it in this way. If you just write y2, it's wrong because should be y negative 2. x4 is wrong, should be x negative 4. Okay? Any question about these two examples?
No,
No.
sir.
No.
Next one here we have incremental coordinate for the same point, which is the C, A, and B, and here. So we want to define the incremental coordinates from starting from this point, for example, until we reach to the end point here. So how we are going to define the incremental coordinates? We said always we start with 0, 0. Also, even incremental coordinates, we start the first reference is 0, 0. Then what will be the coordinate for the first point here? From 0, 0, we move how much from 0, 0, or how long from 0, 0 on the x-axis? It is 1. On the y-axis, it's like it's 3. Okay, so from 0, 0 to this point, we have 1 and 3. Then this point need to move to other point. The machine here or the head or the spindle need to be moved to this point. So from 1, 3 into this point. So what will be the new coordinates by using incremental coordinates? You can see here it is negative 2, negative 1. But you will see, oh, this is, sir, this is not negative 2. This negative 1 only. This also not negative 1, it is 2. No, incremental coordinate is not calculate the value with respect to the 0 reference. It's calculate the value with respect to the previous points. Okay, so what is the difference between this point and that point in the x-axis? The difference is it was here on the right and it was 1. Now it is in the left, but it was negative 1. So what is the difference between 1 and negative 1 here? There are 2 units. There is 1 here on the left, 1 on the right. So it is 2. So why I write it negative 2? Because the movement of the machine go to the left side. So it is negative. How about the y? The y start from 3. Now it's become 2. Both are positive, positive 3, positive 2, but it is go from up to down. So it's become negative 1. 3 to 2, it is negative 1. It's just 1 unit, but it's decreasing. It's not increasing unit. It's go to the other axis, to the direction of the other axis, which is close to the negative or towards the negative part of 1. Then I go to the next point here. I have the first reference. Now my reference become this point, negative 2, negative 1. So I am here. So what will be the point here, which is 3 point, I mean, at this point, it is like 3.75. This point is 3.75. So I'm at 3.75 and I was at point 1. So what is the distance between 1 and 3.75? It is 2.75. Okay, 2.75, is it towards the right side, which is the positive side, or the left side? It is toward the left side. So it's become negative. Again, this, how about the y? The y is changed from 2 until reach to 0.5 here. So what is the difference between 2 and 0.5? It is 1.5. Is it incremental or decremental? No, it is decremental. It's toward the negative side. So it's become negative 1.5, negative 2.7. Okay. No more time. We only have 3 minutes to start the quiz. So please make yourself ready. I think this one also the same. Go to the right, go to the left, up, down. So the sign here of the coordinates is decided by the movement. Is it right towards the positive side or towards the negative side? If it is toward the positive side, so we put it positive. If it is toward the negative side or the negative axis, it's become a negative. The value, it depends on what is the difference between this point and the previous reference point. This point and the reference point. That point and the reference point and so on.